In April of 2010, the Heritage Foundation put out an article that stated Obama's healthcare reform is not in the fashion of the Heritage Foundation. Oh, you don't say. Barack Obama is the Heritage Foundation's absolute nightmare. And I mean that truly. He's an educated Black man who rose up quickly to the highest office in the land. And my only solace continuing this God-forsaken series is that Paul Weyrich, the founder of the Heritage Foundation, lived long enough to see him get elected. We're back and we're moving through the Heritage Foundation's mandates for leaderships. If you don't know this yet, Project 2025 is actually the ninth mandate for leadership. And Heritage Foundation has been putting them out since 1979. Many of their earlier editions were lengthy. They were long, like Project 2025. But as we moved through the Bush Jr. years, they got a lot shorter, like the tune of 150 pages. They'd achieved a lot of what they were looking for and what they wanted with a lot of the goals from previous mandates. And during the Bill Clinton era, they actually shifted gears and utilized Newt Gingrich, the Speaker of the House, to do it, right? They wanted to push for Congress. The reason why Weyrich's witness to Obama's election brings me so much joy is because that same man stated in 1980 that he didn't want everyone in the U.S. to vote. And if you've been following long enough, you know that my hypothesis for the creation of the Heritage Foundation is because Black Americans actually garnered their civil liberties in the 60s, right? Along with a lot of other cultural change. And they guised this under returning to conservatism, right? Fighting big L liberal ideals. We've discussed a lot of their books. We've discussed a lot of their indexes. And from what I can find, there seems to be no full mandate under Barack Obama's tenure, though they have 1 million think pieces on his time published to the Heritage Foundation's website. The seventh mandate for leadership won't be printed until 2016 at the end of his term, right? So under Obama, the Heritage Foundation focuses on congressional power. They're also focusing on criticizing Dodd-Frank, the Affordable Care Act, foreign policy, or terrorism, pretty much anything that he does, right? Right. The Affordable Care Act, if you don't know, is actually built off of Mitt Romney's plan, a bill in Massachusetts when he became governor. But when Obama took part in that, he actually did say that he had gotten some of these ideas from the Heritage Foundation and they were not fans. That's where that 2010 op-ed comes out, right? And as always, the Heritage Foundation rests on the laurels of the Civil War, that everything should be dictated by the states. They're constitutional originalists. If it isn't perfectly outlined in the Constitution, it should be dictated by the states. They believed that healthcare was a state right. And by 2015, for NPR, Romney actually says that he opposed Obamacare, even though he was an inspiration. Now, Dodd-Frank is a regulatory bill that passed in 2010. It's bipartisan. There's plenty of Republicans voting for it. I say plenty. I think it was about 3, but it's enough to surpass a filibuster. And it was in response to the 2008 crash, the one that cost Americans trillions of dollars. And it was necessary, but it hit all the things that the Heritage Foundation hates. Number one, regulations. They designed corporate cronyism and they want to keep getting richer. So you can't have regulations on these banks, even though they might be too big to fail, et cetera, right? They want their donors to get richer. They want to get richer. And 2, they expanded the federal government. God forbid. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was created and that really grinded their gears, right? Because why? Why protect consumers? Yes, it expanded the government, but it protected Americans and it protected the consumers. It's crazy because now we're seeing Project 2025 start to roll back some of these things and consumers are being harmed left, right, and sideways. And it's consistently for the gain of really large companies and corporations, including the banks, right? In Obama's 2 terms, he does increase these regulations a lot. And the Heritage Foundation obviously takes that very personally. They criticized him as an imperial president. And every single op-ed I read was dripping in racism, culture war bullshit, and then again criticizing that foreign policy. But there were 2 major bailouts happening during Obama's terms. And one was the continuation of Bush's bank bailout, right? Glass-Steagall is repealed in 1999 by the Clinton administration. And that is great news for the Heritage Foundation. In less than 10 years, we're hit with the Great Recession. 10 years, right? So now the Heritage Foundation will have you believe that those two things are not linked. We cannot prove causation between the two events. But whether we prove that or not, the fact of the matter is we bailed out these big banks. We gave these executives slaps on the wrist for screwing the American people over. And they got a ton of money for it, right? Like, the American people are the ones that have to pay for it to the tune of trillions of dollars. We propped up these failing banks and then also the failing auto industry. And even after the Great Recession and Dodd-Frank, people still wanted the regulations to go away. We're talking about like 15 to 30 trillion dollars lost to the US, and for the American people themselves, somewhere between 10 and 13 trillion dollars of income. And of course, Obama increased taxes. The increased taxes on the uber wealthy, and somehow the Heritage Foundation still thinks that it's possible to be reducing the debt while reducing taxes for the uber wealthy, while bailing out industries and increasing our defense budget. Doesn't make any sense. And we have to admit, we know the real reason why there's so much Obama hate from the Heritage Foundation. He wouldn't have been able to do anything right? Remember the tan suit fiasco? People hated him because he was black, he was intelligent, and he fucking won. There's so much more to cover in the Obama years. We're going to jump back in, though, with the 7th mandate for leadership, and that comes out in 2016. Hope upon hope that we will be done by fucking Christmas. I need to be cheerful and not thinking about the Heritage Foundation for Christmas. Happy to have you here.